Greetings from the Brook Cherith, friends. Just wanted to give you a quick late night update here from Brook Cherith, what the Lord is doing, and also show you a little bit of what it looks like here at nighttime. You don't get to see this view very often, but there's the solar lights here with the laundry trailer. Keep it lit up just so they can find the doors at night, but it is amazing to see what the Lord is doing with this trailer. You can't see it much, but we got most of it painted. Pretty much all that's going to be painted. Still got a little bit of touch up to do on the ramps back there, but praise the Lord. Got the first part of the safety railing bolted to the deck and the floor there. That was a chore there, but that's making progress. So it is amazing to see it all come together. Got the deck put in so the tank can sit level and not have anything poking it from underneath, and Lord willing, once I figure out exactly where all the valves are going to go, then we'll start filling it up. But it is all come together, and it is amazing to see how the Lord is preparing this boat. It really, I cannot express how much it reminds me so much of a boat, especially with this prow sticking out right here. It is amazing what the Lord is preparing here at this late hour. Literally. And so here at this late hour, I wanted to share with you some of the new resources that are available for you today, right now, that you can print out as part of the related projects of what the Lord is preparing here as we get the Rapture Library trailer ready and going to augment and go with these trailers. As we prepare those materials for there, that also benefits you in your boats and as you let your nets down. So let's go into the library and take a look at them. Alright, here we are at the cafeteria, also the crazy workshop right now. We're assembling a lot of the materials, getting some of the posters, at least the test posters, ready. Got them laminated, how to be saved, and the raisings and rapture. A lot coming together, a lot being prepared here. We already got the signage for the Rapture trailer over there. I'm getting a lot of work done here. It's a mess, but hey, it's just us, so I'm not going to clean up for y'all. This ain't Instagram. Just want to let you know we got some awesome new single-page tutorials that you can print out today. And these come from our Disaster Crash Course materials. You'll maybe be familiar with Volume 1 if you go to our website, disastercrashcourse.com. You can find these and download them. This is the home version, Volume 1. This one is mostly geared toward the average person. Has a lot of tutorials in it for the average person. How do you wash dishes post-disaster? How do you do laundry post-disaster? How do you filter water? How do you get clean water? And just a bunch of good tips in there. The only disadvantage with it is that it's a fairly thick book. And if you want to pass out a lot of core vital information to people, it gets pretty pricey to print out a booklet like this, especially one that's colored with a lot of pages and pictures. It gets pretty pricey, so I do like to have some of these on hand, but cost is an issue. And so that's one reason why we've prepared these 1 or 2 page tutorials. These take the same information that comes from Volume 1 and just focuses on one subject in the form of a handout, such as keeping food cool. It's just front and back, one page. You can print off a bunch of these. And the nice thing about these is you could print off a whole bunch. If you are expecting a number of people to come to your place post-rapture, these make great handouts to get out the core information to a lot of people. You know, it'd be very, very pricey to print out a whole booklet and have enough for, say, 100 people. But it's a whole lot more economical to print off select tutorials that are only 1 page, 2 pages, even do it in black and white. They'll look the same, but this way you can hand out a lot of key information to them and just use it as an appetizer too. So just want to give you an idea. 6 of these we had published before in the past on our Disaster Crash Course website before our websites crashed way back when. We haven't restored them from then. It's a big headache. So there's 6 that are previous, and it's from there, but we also assembled a new one today from there. But let me just give you an idea of these. It's keeping food cool, how to wash Laundry, post-disaster. This is the only one that goes to 3 pages, so you do have to staple them together. But again, super simple. And a lot of this is information that the normal person doesn't think about, or if they've gone camping only a few times in their life, maybe they just don't realize or think about the care and attention to detail that is especially going to be needed post-rapture, when a lot of infrastructure has collapsed, the medical system isn't working. You're not going to have the luxury of winging it or living dangerously. You're going to have to be very careful and attentive to clean living, clean laundry, and also clean dishes too. This one's just a 2-pager, very simple. So this way, I want you to look at these PDFs and determine if some of these would be really useful to the expected audience that you may have come by your place, and just print off a bunch for them. Again, washing dishes. Most people, they might have gone camping a few times in their life, and they're used to winging it or living dangerously when washing dishes in a camp condition. You can't do that post-rapture. That's a recipe for getting food poisoning. Especially if you ever hear horror stories from deer hunters who go to a hunting camp and someone's not very careful with washing dishes and preparing food properly, you can make a lot of people really sick really quickly. And so that's some painful lessons that are going to be learned in the days ahead, but we can provide a lot of core information for them. Here's another one, using cloves for topical pain. Just give them some ideas out of the box. That's only a single pager, not as important as some other ones. Using sugar, white sugar for wound treatment. That's a 2-pager. Very good for healing burns, by the way, too. How to sterilize instruments, a 2-pager. And then one of the most important ones, and this is the one I assembled today because it's so important, is tips for filtering water short term. This is one of the things that most people are going to run into right away post-rapture, once the sun destruction comes and the World War III events start, basically, is going to be the shortage of clean water. And again, as people aren't as familiar with being away from infrastructure that normally produces clean water, waterborne illnesses and just the diseases such as dysentery and cholera that quickly come from not having clean water, those are going to be very, very prevalent. So this one is going to be very valuable to hand out. Now this one here is multiple pages. It's about 6 pages, 3 pieces of paper front and back, so that requires stapling together. But it's very deep, very detailed, gives them a lot of ideas, how to think outside the box. Multiple ways to approach filtering water, sanitizing water, disinfecting water, purifying water. So multiple ideas in there. This one is very valuable. If you're going to print out anything to leave behind survival-wise, I guess, for people, this would be it, because this is the one that they're going to run into possibly even the first day. If their city water or whatever shuts down or is destroyed in the sun destruction, just goes offline even somehow from the power or whatever, this one is going to become very real to them very soon. And also you can, as we put this information with our other resources, you know, all the spiritual and religious stuff and the prophecy, that gives them more incentive to stay and read what you have prepared. Because some people, if all they see is, oh, all they got's religious stuff over here, I'm not going to stick around here, I don't want to hear their stuff. But if they see intermingled with that, also set out that, hey, well, yeah, maybe this could be a valuable, hey, they got some good stuff here, you know. Make them, entice them to stay a while. And then as you see the opportunity and kind of gauge what expected scenario you might have in your area, give out customized resources to help them. And it also shows forethought, that you were thinking of them, that you knew what they would most likely be going through, what their needs were. And that in of itself is a demonstration of care, a demonstration of charity. And so that would touch them and then make them more considerate of, hey, well, this person really thought of me. Let me actually read their left behind letter that they left me, you know. So this is very valuable. And it's amazing how the Lord has prepared all this information. And we've talked about that before. The Brook Cherith. I was looking at these tutorials that we prepared, and you look at them. We prepared them back in 2013. There we go. 2013. And of course, I had been working a little bit up to it before that date on the preparation and research and taking all the pictures and testing things out too. So it really is amazing when we consider the learning journey that the Lord has brought us on here at the Brook Cherith. Yes, we've looked up at celestial stuff, and that's what a lot of people, oh, tell me the celestial stuff, tell me rapture date and all that. Look at what else God has shown us at the same place in the same boat. He's shown us a lot of resources. Why? Because He wants us to use it. That's part of the nets. And as we put this stuff out with the other material, it can serve as bait for the fish when we let down the nets. So they'll stick around and, wow, they got some good stuff here. So they'll read some of the other stuff. The Lord has prepared so much information that is specifically tailored for the day that we see approaching. The expectations, the scenarios, the needs that are going to be very present on the day that we see approaching. So it should catch our attention that what the Lord has prepared fits right with the journey He has shown us about the day approaching. And then He's telling us now, okay, load up your boats, launch out with the nets, and let down the nets for a catch. Because it's there if you launch out the boats and you let down the nets. If you're just waiting for the rapture and not launching out a boat and not getting any nets ready, you're not going to catch any fish. No souls for eternity. You're going to miss out on the biggest opportunities that we've been shown is right up ahead. And so let's take advantage of it. Let's get as many nets and bait in the water as possible. And so that's how you can use these materials. Now again, the tips for filtering water short term is the most important one. So I would highly print this one out. I've made multiple versions. There's the color version that's 8.5 by 11 that anybody can print out on their home computer, just and then staple it together. That way you can get something today and just have some resources out. But I also prepared 2 other versions, and if you go to our Google Drive, go to the folder that says Disaster Crash Course, and then there'll be another folder inside of that that is labeled 11 by 17 versions. And what that is I took the same information but laid it out on 11 by 17 piece of paper. The only disadvantage is you're going to have to take it to an office print store to have it printed, because most home printers can't print this size paper, let alone from the back too. But this makes it easy. It's all on one thing. You don't have to staple it together. It is a slightly condensed version than the stapled together version, because this is 6 pages, whereas this is 4 pages. I took out the distillation information because it's possible that most people can do it, but it's very energy intensive, and so it's less likely. So it is a slightly condensed version, but it is if you want to print off a whole bunch of these really quickly for people, this has the core information that will best suit them. A color version, but I also custom made a black and white version because it's a whole lot cheaper to print black and white. And the same thing. Now I took these to Staples, our office homes print store today, and printed these out. Again, testing these resources, testing the process for you, so I can pass on this information to you. If you want to print off a lot of resources to help a lot of people, this is the most economical way to do it. Print the black and white version of the 11 by 17. Just go to Staples, or Office Depot, or even the UPS store does printing too, most of their locations, and you can get it printed out. And I printed off 150 of them today, just to show you, and have them ready for handout too. This is 150 of these things, and it cost, I believe, $80 to get this whole stack of 150. So you can hand out enough of these how to get clean water to 150 people for $80. I think it was like 54 cents per copy. But the nice thing is their machines printed it both sides, but their machine also folded it too, so I didn't have to fold it or nothing. It just came out of the machine just like that. So for $80 for 150, 4 pages folded, ready to go. I don't have to do anything. That's the best way to go. I would highly recommend you print these out for those in the days ahead. Having, again, a stack of these materials with some of the other tutorials, whether you do them in color or black and white, that's fine. Have a few of these. I always like to print these off. These make good gifts too. I give them to people who are interested in our ministry, gives them a good overview. For example, the trailer guy that we got our trailer from, I gave him one of these and some of our other materials as well. Just a great way for them to really get a feel for the ministry and also what your desire and heart is for those in the days ahead. And we have all these resources. They're dedicated to the tribulation saints in the days ahead. This is prepared specifically for them because the Lord showed me back in 2012, 2013 about the day that we saw approaching with the last generation and showing me that time is very short. And so this parallel ministry was preparing these materials, getting them all ready, and now we see that day very clearly, and the Lord has taken that same Brook Cherith boat that prepared this material, the resources, for those who are in the days ahead, the day that we see approaching very rapidly. And so it is amazing. Take advantage of what the Lord has prepared. Launch out. Use it. Again, you can find the links in our Google Drive. You can go to our website, informedchristians.com. There's a link on the left-hand side straight to our Google Drive, and then go to the Disaster Crash Course right in there, and then the 11:17 versions for the water versions. Everything else has the 8.5:11 versions, so you can print them off too, read them, look them over. But then I would highly suggest get a bunch of resources. You can start working on these while we work on the others. Praise the Lord, He's given some wisdom about how I can work on the other posters and make them more user-friendly for the printing process, so you can get them started soon. So Lord willing, in a day or two, we'll have some more resources, another resource video for you. We are producing the nets. We need your help though. Brethren, partners, help us. We need your help producing these materials, testing it right now, going through and preparing the information. We're also preparing, of course, the Rapture Library. And as I prepare the Rapture Library and the material that's going into it, I'm also considering how can you, yes you, produce your own Rapture Library of material that can reach a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of souls, a whole bunch of fish for eternity. So let's work together. Let's brainstorm together. Let's make it possible. Ask the Lord for wisdom of how you can launch your boat out, and also how you can let down the nets that the Lord has prepared, and also how you can help us prepare and manufacture more nets so that can help you with your catch as well. And together, as partners, we are all together on the same catch, on the same harvest of souls for our Father's kingdom. So let's go out, let's launch our boats, let's rise up. It's midnight hour, time to light those lamps, let's burn the midnight oil. We hear the midnight cry, which tells us the bridegroom cometh. Go ye out to meet him. So let's rise up, let's go out, let's get busy, let's be found with our loins girded and our lights burning, busy letting down the nets, because we hear him, we're going to heed him, we love him, and we will serve him first and highest above all else, faithfully till he comes. Maranatha.